Oh, hi, I'm Tyler, and this is my review
What is your review
of my movie,
What's your movie?
The Disaster Artist.
Why'd you say it? Don't roll that. Yeah, okay, so we're doing a review of... What would you call this movie?
James Franco's Tommy Wiseau's The Disaster
It's
Artist.
a biopic, right, I guess?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I think
okay.
so, yeah.
This is James Franco's movie dramatizing the friendship between Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero and the making of the now cult hit as the best worst movie ever, The Room. That was complicated. It's surprisingly complicated. Alright, so Tyler, I feel like with this one we have to do a little different. Have you watched the movie The Room before?
Yes, I have watched. And you know what? Let's go. A little story about that. I watched it once with you. Did we watch it in Hawaii?
We watched it here.
We watched it here for the first time. So I watched it then. And then we went over to our friend's house.
Yes.
And they've never seen it, so we watched it again.
Yep.
And then I came back here.
Yeah.
Because one friend did not watch it, and I had to watch it a third time.
Luckily I dodged that time.
Yeah. Because I think two... You know what? Quite frankly, one is enough. 2 times is like, alright, and then, yeah. No,
3 times is like...
I was done. Like... It almost doesn't become funny anymore because it's just it's so bad.
You know its ways.
Yeah. Although it still has a little charm to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this movie about 6 or 7 years ago. I had heard it was a bad movie. My friend James had rented it from Redbox back when Redbox would actually give you DVDs. So we watched it, and it was magically terrible. It was so bad. I was like, whoa, someone made this. Then I didn't really think about it for too long again. And then this stuff about James Franco making this movie popped up, and I was kind of like, oh, I guess that is kind of... Okay, I think what happened was I listened to this podcast called How Did This Get Made, and they had the guy who plays Mark on the show. So he was kind of giving them little inside tidbits as they were talking about the movie, about like, oh, this is what happened behind the scenes.
I haven't heard the book until they talked about The Disaster Artist, and then I read about it, and I was like, oh, there's a book.
Yeah, same with me. I didn't know they made a book, which I want to... I'm probably at least going to listen to the audiobook, because I bet it is gold.
So if you don't know, there's a book called The Disaster Artist, written by the guy who plays Mark, Greg Sestero, on, I guess, the accounts of, like, what happened during the production. But it's kind of from his perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Do you want to do a plot synopsis for this movie?
No, you can do it. No, you kind of did it.
I realized I kind of did it a little bit.
Yeah, this is basically the plot.
Okay, sorry. So, we follow James Franco. He's playing Greg Sestero. He's a young actor. He's trying to make it. And during his acting class, he meets Tommy. And the thing is, he admires the fact that Tommy is, like, fearless on stage. Because Greg kind of has... He's young. He's still trying to figure himself out. And Tommy's young, too. And he's played by James Franco. And so basically what happens is him and Greg and Mark become good friends. And then one night when they go to visit James Dean's grave, Tommy is like, hey man, why don't we move to LA? Like, let's try to go for our dreams. So they both go out there and they both try to be actors. And Greg initially is kind of getting more success because, you know, he's like good looking dude. He's young, and Tommy's like, obviously a little bit older, even though he never says his age, and got a weird European accent. And then out of their frustration, but neither one of their careers really like take off necessarily. So out of their frustration, Greg is like, man, we should just make our own movie. And then Tommy, who they kind of allude, like, has money, but never really says like where he gets this money from, is like, yeah, let's just make our own movie. So he writes the script called The Room, and they make this movie that ends up becoming like a cult hit. So that's basically the plot synopsis. So Tyler, we've been anticipating this movie for a while. What did you think?
Like my overall?
Yeah, what was your overall thoughts on Disaster Artist?
It was okay. It has a good amount of like laughs, and there's some interesting... I mean, most of the interesting things comes from when like they're actually on the set and they're making the movie. I think anything before that's kind of like...
Yeah.
But... Yeah. What did you think?
I think I'm on the same boat as you. I think this movie's okay. I think it's good.
Yeah. Like, I think you should still see it. Like, it's not...
Yeah, I definitely think if you haven't seen The Room, don't watch it. Because it won't quite make sense.
Yeah.
I think James Franco does a really good Tom. He does a thing where, like, it's definitely a Tommy Wiseau impression, but he does little things where it's not just making fun of Tommy. Like, he does a pretty good job of conveying sort of, like, Tommy's frustrations and the fact that he's, like, even though he's a really odd person...
He's a struggling artist.
He's still a person.
Yeah.
Like, he obviously cares for Greg. He has these dreams that he's trying to go for. You kind of get the feeling that, because he's lying about his age and stuff, that maybe... this is a dream that he wanted to go for, but he's not the right age, so he's trying to kind of, like, relive it through Greg, but also start, like, pursuing it himself. So I think James Franco does a really good job. But I do agree with you. I think the movie is at its best when they're on the set, because you get a bunch of different characters. Because the way the movie has it with the Greg and Mark dynamic, it's very just, like... Greg is just sort of like, oh man, Tommy, like, even though he's kind of weird, he's like, man, Tommy's a really cool guy, and then Tommy just kind of comes in, he's like, Greg, we make a movie, and after about maybe like 10, 15 minutes of that dynamic, you're kind of like, all right, it's refreshing once you get on the set, and like the dynamic changes, because you have some people who are, they're not really friends with Tommy, so they're way more willing to be like, this guy's fucking weird, like, what's up with this dude?
It's also interesting to watch the crew because you're like, what's keeping them there? And like, what's keeping them there is money. I was like, and somehow he has all this money to keep paying these people. So yeah, I mean, why not? I'd be like, yeah.
And that was the thing that I kind of wish was, I think this is one of the bad things about James Franco. One, being Tommy's friend, and then two, there's just stuff about Tommy that's missing.
Yeah.
So there's kind of these little threads that they bring up every now and then about, like, Tommy owns, like, a place in San Francisco and a place in LA that he doesn't, go to very often. And Greg kind of brings up, like, oh, you just have both of these places? And he also drives, like, a nice car. So there's little things where people start wondering, like, man, where's he getting this money?
There's a part in the movie where Seth Rogen's character goes to cash in a check, and he's pretty sure that it's going to bounce back because he's like, there's no fucking way. So he cashes it in, the guy's like, all right, did you want this in? Like, he's like, wait, he's like, it went through?
Yeah, he's like, oh, what?
He's like, that's a shock.
Yeah.
Which, I was like, yeah, I wanted them to explore that stuff, because I was like, but I'm sure they're limited to, like, what Tommy... He's such an eccentric, guy that, like, he's not very solid on any of the information that he ever, he's giving out.
He's pretty enigmatic. Like, you
don't know where he comes from.
Don't know where he gets his money from.
Don't know. Well, I can assume how old he is, but he hasn't actually outright said how old he actually is.
Yeah. I'm going to guess in the time period they're talking about, he's got to be in his 30s, mid to late 30s, early 40s. Like, that's kind of the way he looks. Even though they try to early James Franco up with the Tommy Wiseau makeup, but he's still handsome.
Did he do his eye? Did he do it on purpose? Like, yeah. That's hard. I don't know how he did that.
Tommy's kind of got that going.
Yeah. Like a weird.
But yeah, like I do think this. I am glad they made this movie, but I do wish they had kind of refocused it a bit to be on the set more, because that's when the dynamics get more interesting. Because like Greg and Tommy are starting to have some problems on the set, because you kind of get the feeling that Tommy's like possessive of Greg. That's his friend, and Greg is like, he's a good looking dude, so he starts dating this girl. But also, like, yeah, you have it where the actress who played, what's her name in the actual movie? Julie?
I think so.
Julie, that plays his fiance.
Lisa.
And you kind of get a really good feeling of, like, the crew is kind of looking at him and going, like, what's going on? There's, like, power struggles on set, and that stuff was really interesting. Plus, it's just interesting to watch them make a movie. I mean, we're biased because we love film, and we're trying to get into the...
That's a whole nother thing, too, is, like, because we know film stuff, and we've been on certain sets, like, that's kind of, like... It's kind of cool to see how, like, they actually ran their sets.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of people who know what they're doing, and then you have Tommy Wiseau, who just does not know.
Yeah. And I wish... because I do get the feeling they probably condensed or left things out from the book. And I think it hurts the Greg character a little bit because there's certain times where you're like, man, he's going on with a lot of stuff, which apparently in real life he definitely had kind of hit a wall with Tommy sooner and definitely was like, all right, I mean, you're my friend, dude, but you're really pushing it.
Yeah.
But the way they kind of have it here, I like Dave Franco, but I like in this movie, Dave Franco's acting is very just.
Yeah.
It's him going like, Tommy, man, I don't. I mean, you're.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you're great, man. Like, I don't.
That smile, yeah.
They kind of have it where he's like a real kind of like pushover, which that dynamic got kind of old fast.
That's the thing. That's the thing about like the movie. Like they had all these certain things that they didn't fully explore. I almost wanted to see more like Greg because like that does suck. Like, what do you do? It's your friend, but like he's kind of holding you back, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, he doesn't care that he knows he's holding you back, but he doesn't care, like, because he's, his jealousy and all that shit. So
it was kind of like from Tommy's point of view, it was kind of sad, man. Like it's just like he wants this dream, but he's just old. He's too old for it. He's weird. And I kind of wish they had explored that a little bit more. I mean, it maybe would have made the Tommy character a bit darker. And there was the moments where his character got darker that it actually became more interesting.
Because he's kind of like a scary dude. When you think about it, you're like, oh, like he can just like lash out randomly and just.
Yeah, but I think the thing the movie did a good job of is like you understand sort of where it's not because Tommy's like malicious. It's just that he wants this dream, and now that he has this power, because he's got his money, he's sort of lashing out and taking it out on people. But you kind of are never like, oh, he's a bad person. It's just sort of like he just wants it, and
he's also just sad. A weird dude. So the way he deals with certain things is really like
yeah.
Like I think there's a part where and you said there's a guy that did the behind the scenes, but like it's somewhere you can actually like watch it possibly. I don't know.
I mean the way the movie makes it sound, Tommy had someone on the crew who's doing like a behind the scenes documentary, and like I would love to watch that footage.
Because the movie is depicted as like there's parts where people are talking shit about him on the set, and like to me I'm like that is rough when you have like this thing and everyone's working with you, but like they're talking shit about the project, you know. That must be like I can see where Tommy was like.
So, but I do like this movie. Maybe when they release the Blu-ray, maybe they have more footage that they shot.
Yeah.
That they had to cut out. And maybe when they include that, it'll add that stuff back. But for me on this one, it's just sort of, it's good, but it doesn't hit. Like some of this talk I was hearing about this movie was like, oh, award noms. And this is not gonna.
Yeah, now that I've seen it, I'm like.
I think James Franco's really good as Tommy, but no, it's not quite there. I will say though, their recreation of scenes from the movie is so dead on that it is funny. Like just seeing certain scenes, but with Franco and them doing it, and seeing how much rehearsal time they put into this stuff. Like they, at a certain point in the movie, they show the old movie and they show the Disaster Artist version, and it's crazy how well they are like synced up. You're like, oh, they must have watched these scenes at least 100 times.
Like that was because they do it at the very end. That's cool. Josh Hutcherson, I just remember, is in the movie.
There's so many cameos in this movie from like the Apatow crew that it's just a delight to see. Seth Rogen, I'm kind of curious to see him do more dramatic work because in this movie he is comedic, but it's much more subdued. It feels more real.
I think ever since that Steve Jobs movie that he was in. Ever since that point, I was like, yeah, he can do it.
I think he's got a good dramatic role in him soon. Hopefully, we'll get to see it. But you have anything you want to say about this movie? Like any more feelings or anything?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like some of that stuff where they like recreated, that's cool and all. But like, I think a part of me is like, that's basically what the movie is like them recreating the movie almost. Yeah. There wasn't enough of like the backstory stuff that I wanted. Yeah. So that's how I felt about it. Yeah. It's still good. Like it's still good. I think it is a good movie. Yeah. It's fine.
I think if I were to give a rating for this, I would give it a matinee. Like, go with the caveat. If you've seen The Room, I give it a matinee. If you haven't, you might be better off renting it because a lot of my enjoyment was knowing The Room.
Yeah, if you don't know, then you might not.
You may just be really confused as to like, why are they spending so much time on this movie? Like, what's going on? Is this real? And then you might go with James Franco like, what's up with this character? Why is he acting like this?
Which unfortunately the movie's not doing too well right now, I think.
Oh, it isn't? Its budget was small though, right? It wasn't a lot.
I think it was $10 million.
How much did it make?
I think it's only made so far. It's only grossed maybe about 4-point-something million.
It'll make its money back. I mean, when you make a
At
movie
least
like
make
this,
it back, yeah.
when you make a movie like this, it's as long as you keep that budget low, it'll do okay. But yeah, okay. So yeah, that was our thoughts on the Disaster Artist. If you have your thoughts, leave them down in the comments and give us a like, share us. And we're going to try to do more reviews for you guys. We might start doing some TV show reviews or like Netflix show reviews.
Yeah.
Maybe Stranger Things too. Now that I finally finished it. Almost 2 months later. But yeah, alright guys. Bye. Oh.
I couldn't come up with a pun in time.
Oh, bye guys.
Oh, bye guys.
Bye.